everyone. Continuing with the series, we are going to discuss about environmental impact assessment, and this becomes important for GS third paper. Fine. So, what is EIA or environmental impact assessment? It's simply a tool to assess the significant effect of a project or any developmental proposal on environment. Suppose there is an infrastructure project that is coming up. So, क्या ये प्रोजेक्ट एनवायरनमेंट को अफेक्ट करेगा? अगर करेगा तो क्या स्कोप है इसका? मीन्स किस तरीके से ये अफेक्ट कर सकता है एनवायरनमेंट को, वो हम जानने की कोशिश करते हैं इस एनवायरमेंटल इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट में. ओके, सो लाइक इफ सपोज देयर इज environmental impact assessment, right? So there has to be a process to perform it. There are certain stages for this process. The stages are: first, screening, scoping, preparing report, making application and consultation, then decision making and post decision. So फॉर एग्ज़ाम्पल आपको डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन नहीं भी पूछा जाता है कि व्हाट इज़ एनवायरमेंटल इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट, बट यू नो दैट देयर आर सर्टेन स्टेजेस जो हम जानने की कोशिश करते हैं while trying to analyze how a project is going to affect the environment. We can just quote, the quoting of these words becomes very important because these then become your technical terms. Like you will write, first suppose blah blah, there is an there is a infrastructure project. So first of all, the project has to go by the screening process, or we need to find the scoping, the extent to which the project can affect positively and negatively, and especially in ethics paper where you have to deal with the case studies. Then you can also write like we are going to prepare the report, and then have a consultation process with all the stakeholders, and then we can arrive at a decision, and then later we can find out what else has to be done. So these technical terms become important for you. Fine. And this if suppose there is a direct question, you can write it in the points, or you can just for example, you have written screening, then you can write scoping. You can form this kind of thing just to make your answer more representative, and more it appeals to the eyes when you make these kind of diagrams. And आपको लिखना भी कम पड़ता है, and you cover a hell lot of things in that. Anyways, so these are the stages of EIA process. So let's see what are these processes. First is screening. Screening is like we have to decide whether environmental impact assessment is actually required for this project or not. Because once a process start, it will take so many months, sometimes years, to reach at a particular decision, because you have to consult a lot of stakeholders in that. So a screening has to be done whether this process require EIA or not. Fine. Wait a second. After screening, we go for scoping, डिसाइडिंग व्हाट नीड्स टू बी कवर्ड इन द असेसमेंट. एक बार हमने डिसाइड कर लिया कि येस हमें इन्वायरमेंटल इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट इसका करना है. अब हम ये देखेंगे कि कौन कौन सी नीड्स हैं जो हमें देखनी है इसके अंदर, कौन कौन से एरियाज इस असेसमेंट में हमें कवर करनी है. ठीक है, तो डिसाइडिंग व्हाट नीड्स टू बी कवर्ड इन द असेसमेंट एंड रिपोर्टेड इन द EIA रिपोर्ट. और जो हमारी EIA की फाइनल रिपोर्ट बनेगी, उस रिपोर्ट में हमें क्या क्या प्रेजेंट करना है. तो दिस इज स्कोपिंग. Scoping is deciding the scope of the EIA report. Okay. Third is preparing the EIA report. The EIA report has to include the likely significant environmental effects of the development. ठीक है, कि क्या environmental effects जो हैं हम expect कर सकते हैं, हो सकते हैं इस project से. Fourth is making an application and consultation. Then the EIA report and development application must be publicized. Okay. It may be via electronic advertisement also. Interested parties and the public must give an opportunity to give their views on it. This is basically एक तरीके से आप जितने भी स्टेक होल्डर्स हैं, आप उन सबको इन्वॉल्व करने की कोशिश कर रहे हो. जो भी इंटरेस्टेड पार्टीज़ हैं, जो पब्लिक हैं, वो अपने व्यूज़ देंगे उस प्रोजेक्ट पे. ठीक है. Then based on all these things, all views, the report that has been prepared, then decision making will happen. The EIA report and any comments made on it must be taken into account by the competent authority before they decide whether to give consent for the development. The decision notice has to be published, and जो भी decision वो लेंगे on the basis of the report, on the basis of this consultation, ठीक है, वो publish करनी पड़ेगी. And finally, post decision, the developer starts any monitoring required by the competent authority. Fine. So these are stages which are required for an effective environmental impact assessment for any project. Fine, I hope this is clear to you, because as sir has already told, for mains it's very very important to clear the basic terminologies for you, because the question nowadays are not going to be direct like what is environmental impact assessment. But if you don't have the clarity with respect to the basic concepts, then you're not going to write with respect to the application part as well. Fine, so thank you, good luck.